Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Donald Trump claims West Asia ceasefire on massive life support after dismissing Iran's counter-proposal. Tehran says ready to respond to any aggression. UN calls for genuine ceasefire as Israel's assault on Lebanon intensifies. Pressure grows on Keir Starmer as cabinet members join MPs calling for UK Prime Minister to set out timetable for resignation. President Draupadi Murmu confers National Florence Nightingale Awards on outstanding nursing professionals for dedicated service to the nation's healthcare sector. The 79th Cannes Film Festival is all set to begin on French Riviera. 22 films in competition during the 12-day long movie extravaganza. US President Donald Trump said on Monday that the ceasefire with Iran was on life support after dismissing Tehran's response to a US peace proposal as stupid. Trump said he is considering restarting naval escorts previously dubbed Project Freedom through the Strait of Hormuz as he seeks complete victory in the war. Trump warned that Iran's rejection over the weekend of Washington's demands is now unbelievably weak.
We're going to have a complete victory. We've already, in theory, had a complete victory from the military standpoint. The military, look, their Navy is dead. They have they had 159 ships. Right now they have 0, other than the little speedboats that go around that got taken out 8 a day by us. They have no Air Force. They have no anti-aircraft. It's unbelievably weak, I would say. I would call it the weakest right now. After reading that piece of garbage they sent us, I didn't even finish reading it. They said, I'm not going to waste my time reading it. I would say it's one of the weakest right now. It's on life support.
Meanwhile, Iran has called for an end to the war on all fronts, including Lebanon. Tehran also demanded compensation for war damage, an end to the US naval blockade, a guarantee of no further attacks, and resumption of Iranian oil sales. Tehran also emphasized its sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz, where it has shut down shipping traffic. Iran's parliament speaker said his country's military stood ready to teach a lesson to any aggressor after Trump warned that the ceasefire hanging by a thread. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio held separate calls with his Australian and British counterparts on Monday to discuss Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. According to State Department press statement, Marco Rubio spoke with UK Foreign Secretary Wade Cooper to discuss Iran and ongoing efforts to restore freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz. During his call with Australian Minister for Foreign Affairs Penny Wong, Rubio underscored the strength of the US-Australia alliance and its importance to the security and stability of Indo-Pacific region. The two leaders reaffirmed their commitment to promoting a free and open Indo-Pacific. They also discussed Iran and ongoing efforts to restore freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz. And the UK, US and Australia have imposed sanctions on Iranian networks and individuals both during and before the war. The US government on Monday announced sanctions against 3 people and 9 companies, including 4 based in Hong Kong and 4 in the United Arab Emirates, for aiding Iran's shipment of oil to China. The 9 companies based in Oman. The move comes hours after the UK issued its own distinct set of sanctions and days before US President Trump was scheduled to visit China. Treasury said the new designations by the Office of Foreign Assets Control were aimed at individuals and entities that helped Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps sell and ship its allotment of Iranian oil to China using a series of front companies. And Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the Trump administration would continue to ratchet up pressure on Tehran to deprive the Iranian government and military of funding for weapons, its nuclear program or support for proxies in the region. And the Trump administration said on Monday it will loan energy companies 53.3 million barrels of crude from the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve as part of a global agreement to calm oil markets. 9 companies, including ExxonMobil, Trafigura and Marathon Petroleum Company, borrowed only about 58% of the 92.5 million barrels the Department of Energy last month had offered to loan from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. The Department of Energy had already loaned about 80 million barrels from the SPR as it seeks to release a total of 172 million barrels. The US agreed to that larger amount in March in a pact with more than 30 countries in the International Energy Agency to release about 400 million barrels. The agreement was an attempt to relieve oil and fuel prices pushed higher by Iran's shutting of the Strait of Hormuz, a choke point through which about 20% of the world's oil usually passed each day. Moving on to news coming in from the United Kingdom, where Prime Minister Keir Starmer is facing mounting pressure to step down as 4 ministerial aides resigned and more than 70 Labour MPs reportedly called for him to step down after Labour Party's local election losses. Senior cabinet figures said they urged Starmer to set a timetable for his departure. Starmer insisted he would prove them wrong, but unrest inside Labour continues to deepen. Senior cabinet figures urged Starmer to set a departure timeline, while resigning aide Tom Rutland said PM had lost authority. Former Minister Catherine West called for a leadership contest in September. Starmer's allies warned that replacing him so soon after Labour's 2024 victory could plunge Britain into political chaos, but criticism inside the party showed little sign of easing. Despite growing unrest, removing Starmer would require backing from 81 Labour MPs to stay in the cabinet. Let's take a look at the rise and fall of British Premier Keir Starmer.
Keir Starmer began his career as a human rights lawyer before becoming the UK's chief state prosecutor. In 2015, he became a member of parliament, marking his rise in British politics. In 2020, he became leader of the Labour Party after replacing Jeremy Corbyn. On July 5, 2024, Starmer became Prime Minister, promising a government of service. But early in his term, controversy hit as winter fuel payment cuts triggered backlash and a policy U-turn. Between 2024 and 2025, his government faced welfare reforms, tax disputes, and repeated policy reversals. In September 2025, Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner resigned over tax issues. That same month, Starmer sacked Peter Mandelson as ambassador to Washington over his friendship with late U.S. sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The Mandelson affair led to the departure of 2 of Starmer's closest aides and the most senior civil servant in the Foreign Ministry. Mandelson appointment continues to haunt Starmer, who has so far refused numerous calls to quit. It has been projected as the reason for a series of humiliating local election results for Labour last week that have renewed calls for his departure. But Starmer vowed to stay on, calling it a battle for the soul of the country. Bureau Report, DD India.
While in South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa has rejected calls for his resignation over the so-called Farmgate scandal involving stolen foreign currency hidden at his private ranch. Ramaphosa said he respected a constitutional court ruling reviving impeachment proceedings against him, but insisted he had committed no crime and would challenge the findings in court. The controversy stems from the theft of cash from Ramaphosa's Fala Fala game farm in 2020, with questions raised over why large amounts of money were allegedly hidden inside the furniture. Ramaphosa has maintained the funds came from the sale of buffaloes and denied any wrongdoing. South Africa's ruling African National Congress is expected to discuss its response to the court ruling, while opposition groups continue pushing for impeachment proceedings and a possible no-confidence motion against the president.
Since a criminal complaint was laid against me in June 2022, I have consistently maintained that I have not stolen public money, committed any crime, nor violated my oath of office. I have therefore decided to proceed to take the independent panel's report on review on an expeditious basis. I do so not out of disrespect for Parliament or its processes, but to affirm the need for such findings to be correct in law and in fact. especially where Parliament's work would be based on and informed by a report I believe is flawed.
Updates on Hunter virus now. The last 2 evacuation planes carrying passengers and crew from the Hunter virus hit ship MV Hondius landed in the Netherlands on early hours of Tuesday. According to the Dutch Foreign Ministry, travelling in the 2 planes were 28 evacuees from the ship, including passengers, crew and medical staff. The first plane to land was transporting 6 former guests of the Hondius, 4 from Australia, 1 from New Zealand and 1 British person who lives in Australia, while other plane was carrying 19 crew members. These 6 are expected to stay in a quarantine facility close to the airport before being repatriated towards Australia. 3 people have died since the start of the outbreak, a Dutch couple and a German national. And the 55th St. Gallen Symposium convened global leaders to discuss technology and geopolitics in Switzerland. It is a unique platform managed solely by university students, and this year's edition spotlighted the trade agreement between India and Switzerland. Our correspondent Nidhi has more on this.
Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement, or CEPA, between EFTA countries, which are Iceland, Norway, Liechtenstein and Switzerland, and India, is not just a trade deal, but a long-term relationship which has expanded access at all levels. So it's not surprising that we are discussing the 200-day mark of CEPA at the St. Gallen Symposium. It is one of the world's most respected gatherings of policymakers, CEOs and academics.
Switzerland, as part of EFTA, feels very proud that we have actually reached now the 200 days limit of the TIPA with India being in effect. This TIPA is a great promise, I think, for all involved. The Swiss companies tell me that they're very excited to have better access, privileged access to a great market.
The discussion opened with an address by Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal and was followed by an in-depth conversation between Commerce Secretaries of both countries.
We have finalized 9 free trade agreements with 38 developed and prosperous countries.
Many companies that are already in India, they're expanding, so they are investing more and more Swiss companies are benefiting from this TEPA by starting to export and in particular also looking at India as an investment destination.
First 200 days, we see that there are few new product lines which are finding its way to Swiss market or EFTA countries, which was not happening before TEPA. 2, we are also seeing that there is a significant interest in terms of investments from EFTA countries to India. And in this sense, we see in last 6 months, we have seen 16 companies from EFTA countries with a total investment portfolio of $1.7 billion.
Witnessing the open and candid conversation between senior policymakers in a university setting offered a glimpse into the inner workings of a trade negotiation which is often held behind closed doors. This is Nidhi reporting from the St. Gallen Symposium in Switzerland.
And former Sri Lankan President Mahinda Rajapaksa appeared before the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption on Tuesday to record a statement in connection with an alleged $2 million bribery payment linked to a 2013 aircraft procurement deal involving state-owned Sri Lankan Airlines. Former Aviation Minister Priyankara Jayaratne has also reportedly been summoned as part of the investigation. Time now for a very short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Prime Minister Modi to embark on 5-nation visit to UAE and 4 European countries from May 15. Himanta Biswa Sarma takes oath for his second successive term as Assam's Chief Minister.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. when supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. Prime Minister Modi will embark on a 5-nation visit from May 15, during which he will visit the United Arab Emirates, the Netherlands, Sweden, Norway and Italy. The focus of this visit will be on ensuring energy security for India amid disruptions in global supply chains due to US-Iran war in West Asia. PM Modi will pay an official visit to the UAE on May 15, during which he will meet President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan to exchange views on bilateral issues, particularly energy cooperation and regional and international issues. The two leaders will also discuss ways to advance the bilateral comprehensive strategic partnership. On the second leg of the visit, PM Modi will travel to the Netherlands on a state visit. This will be Prime Minister's second visit to the Netherlands after his previous visit in 2017. During the visit, PM Modi will call on King William Alexander and Queen Maxima and hold talks with Prime Minister Rob Yetten. PM's visit will build on close cooperation in defence, security, innovation, green hydrogen, semiconductors and a strategic partnership on water. PM Modi will travel to Sweden for the third leg of the visit during May 17 and 18. He will hold bilateral talks with Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson on bilateral relations and to explore new avenues of cooperation, including enhancing trade between the two nations. The two Prime Ministers will also address the European Roundtable for Industry along with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. In the fourth leg of his visit, Prime Minister will pay an official visit to Norway from 18th May for the third India-Nordic Summit and bilateral engagements. This will be the first visit of Prime Minister Modi to Norway and will mark the first prime ministerial visit from India to Norway in 43 years. In the final leg of his visit, Prime Minister will undertake an official visit to Italy. During the visit, he will call on President Sergio Mattarella and hold talks with Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. Prime Minister had last visited Italy in June 2024 for the G7 summit. Prime Minister's upcoming visit will further deepen India's partnership with Europe across sectors, particularly trade and investment ties in light of recently concluded India-EU FTA. And President of India, Draupadi Murmu, presented the National Florence Nightingale Awards for the year 2026 to the nurses at a function held at Rashtrapati Bhavan today. The National Florence Nightingale Award was instituted by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, as a mark of recognition for the meritorious services of nurses working in government, private, missionary and voluntary organizations. This prestigious national award recognizes the outstanding contributions and dedicated service of nursing professionals across India who have made a remarkable difference in the field of healthcare and patient care. And May 12 is observed annually as International Nurses Day across the world, marking the birth anniversary of Florence Nightingale, who is widely regarded as the pioneer of modern nursing. The 2026 theme, Our Nurses, Our Future, Empowered Nurses Save Lives, focuses on the need for policy reforms as well as increased investment in and strengthening of the global nursing workforce. And Himanta Biswa Sarma took oath as the Chief Minister of the northeastern state of Assam for the second consecutive term on Tuesday. Prime Minister Modi, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, Union Minister Sarbanand Sonowal and BJP National President Nitin Nabin, along with NDA Chief Ministers and Deputy Chief Ministers, attended the grand event at the Khanpara Veterinary College Field. Governor Lakshman Prasad Acharya administered the oath of office and secrecy to Sarma and 4 other legislators at the veterinary field in Khanpara area. US Ambassador to India Sergio Gore also attended the swearing-in ceremony of Himanta Biswa Sarma. This will be the third NDA government in Assam, and Sarma will become the only non-Congress Chief Minister to achieve the feat in the state. The 79th edition of the Cannes Film Festival starts on Tuesday, that is May 12th, and will last until May 23rd. It will be a 12-day festival that promises to blend the world's most artistic cinema with high-end fashion once again. DD India's Munmun Bhattacharya reports from Cannes.
Behind me is the iconic staircase leading up to the Palais des Festivals, where most of the world's cinema will be screened at the Cannes Film Festival. The red carpet is going to be rolled out right here, and stars from around the world will walk down the red carpet ahead of the premieres of their films. This is one of the most photographed locations in cinema and acts as a bridge between fashion outside and cinema inside. It's the 79th edition of the Cannes Film Festival, and this is its official poster. It uses the iconic black and white still of 1991 American classic Thelma and Louise. The opening film is a French period comedy named The Electric Kiss by French filmmaker Pierre Salvadori. 2 honorary Palme d'Ors are being awarded, one to acclaimed New Zealand filmmaker Peter Jackson and another to American multi-hyphenate artist Barbara Streisand. 22 films are competing for the festival's most prestigious award, the Palme d'Or. Some of them are Amarga Navidad, Fjord, Hope, The Unknown, Fatherland, Minotaur, The Man I Love, Paper Tiger and Parallel Tales. This time it is an auteur-driven competition with relatively less presence of major Hollywood studios-backed premieres. 5 women filmmakers are competing for the big prize. 3 Japanese-language films are also in the fray. The decision on who wins the Palme d'Or will be taken by a 9-member jury chaired by South Korean filmmaker Park Chan-wook. Prominent figures expected on the red carpet are Adam Driver, Scarlett Johansson and Miles Teller, that together make the star cast of Paper Tiger, besides directors Pedro Almodovar, Asghar Farhadi, Hirokazu Koreeda, Ryusuke Hamaguchi, whose films are competing for Palme d'Or.
Oh yes, of course, I'm coming every year because I'm living at about 30 minutes from here. So I try to come and I see a lot of people, everybody seems to be happy and I'm feeling a lot of energy, good energy, so I'm coming every year.
I grew up watching fashion TV and watching the Cannes Film Festival on TV, so it's actually a dream come true being able to be here while the festival is happening.
American actor John Travolta is making his directorial debut with Propeller One-Way Night Coach. He is expected on the red carpet too for the premiere of his film. I'm standing on La Croisette on the edge of the red carpet. The festival comes to a close on 23rd May, and that is when closing film Ulysses will be screened. That is also the day when winners will be announced, and that will mark the end of yet another chapter of one of world cinema's most prestigious, popular and dynamic film festivals. With cameraman Sanjay Jaina, this is Munmun Bhattacharya from Cannes for DD India.
Alright, that's all on this edition of DD India Live. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.